2 officers lost in a single night. One to suicide, the other a detective killed in the line of duty.
He worked hard for the city that he loved. He worked hard to take care of his family, and he worked hard to take care of his fellow officers.
A husband, a father, what the chief calls a policeman's policeman. An emotional tribute as the city grapples with the loss of 2 of its own. Plus, what we've learned about another man killed and about the suspects. Good evening, I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Lena Lai. Laura is off tonight. We have team coverage on the death of Detective James Skirnovitz, including Tiffany Tarpley with details on his life and his years of service, and investigator Rachel Poleski with what we are learning tonight about the other man who was shot and killed.
But we begin with the latest on the investigation. Here's Mark Namick.
3 people are in custody in the connection to the fatal shooting Thursday night of undercover detective James Skirnovitz. The 53-year-old veteran officer was working in an unmarked car near West 65th Street in a neighborhood known for drug activity when someone opened fire around 10 p.m., hitting him in the chest. Skirnovitz managed to drive from the scene but crashed into a nearby playground. His passenger, 50-year-old Scott Dingus of Cleveland, was also fatally shot, though police wouldn't discuss his connection.
There's a question from a reporter about the duties of Detective Skirnovitz that night and the person that was with him. Again, we're still deep into this investigation. There's a lot more work to be done. We're still asking for people with information to give that information. We're not going to get into the details of what his assignment was that night, but he was doing his duty to protect the citizens of this city, and we'll leave it at that.
By mid-afternoon Friday, the U.S. Marshals and Cleveland police arrested 3 people on unrelated warrants in separate raids on the city's west side. 2 are juveniles.
There are 3 folks, persons of interest, that are arrested on unrelated warrants right now. We think there is a connection to those 3 and maybe others.
Skirnovitz worked in the police department's gang unit and was sworn in just Wednesday to work in the Northern Ohio Violent Crimes Task Force, a partnership between federal and local agencies that investigates violent crime. The chief was asked several times in a late afternoon press conference again to talk about what unfolded here last night. They're not ready to do it. He mentioned the people arrested today. They haven't been charged yet, and again, 2 are juveniles. Now, more about the detective who gave his life. Tiffany Tarpley has that story.
Yeah, Mark, as you know, this is a tough time for the Cleveland police family. It is raw. They are very emotional as they deal with the loss of one of their own. Serving 22 years on the Cleveland police force, Chief Calvin Williams calls Detective James Skirnovitz a policeman's policeman.
Skir, as a lot of folks out there called him, again, he was the one that, we want to duplicate over and over again because he did the work the way it should have been done.
Skirnovitz was assigned to the gang unit and most recently sworn into the federal initiative, which has extended to Cleveland, called Operation Legend.
He worked hard for the city that he loved. He worked hard to take care of his family, and he worked hard to take care of his fellow officers.
A family man, leaving behind a wife and 2 adult children. I also reached out to a friend of the family on Facebook who says Jim, as he calls him, was a great cop, an even better person. He calls Skirnovitz one of a kind. And so he was also a part of the Honor Guard, and he served at Progressive Field as well, keeping fans there safe, Lena. Tonight, the Indians, they plan to have their flags fly at half-staff as well. They will also have a moment of silence.
Yeah, many wanting to express their sorrow tonight. Tiffany, thank you.
Cleveland police also mourning the loss of another officer, Officer Nicholas Sabo, who took his own life overnight.
Nick took his life, and we're saddened by that. We're trying to get to the bottom of why. And as the director stated, any officer out there that needs help, they need to give us a call. That number for the county suicide prevention hotline, as well as our employee assistance with Sergeant Melissa Dawson and her folks, they do an excellent job. Just reach out to them or call one of your buddies on the shift so that we can make sure that you get the help and the attention you need. For the residents and the people out there, keep sending us your prayers. We appreciate it.
Chief Calvin Williams. By the way, here's the number for the Cuyahoga County Suicide Prevention Hotline. It is 216-623-2727. 216-888-6888. You heard Chief Williams there. He says if you or anyone you know needs help, please reach out. Again, that number is 216-623-6888. And now to the second man killed alongside Detective Skirnovitz. He has been identified as 50-year-old Scott Dingus. 3 News investigator Rachel Polanski has looked into their relationship and why the two were together last night.
Multiple police sources tell us that Scott Dingus was there working with the undercover detective as an informant, though 3 News has not been able to independently confirm that with police. So here's what we do know. Dingus was facing aggravated theft charges and was free on bond when he met with Detective Skirnovitz on the city's west side last night. Court records obtained by 3 News Investigate shows that Dingus, a native of West Virginia, had a lengthy criminal history in Cuyahoga and Lorain counties dating back to 2009. The majority of his cases involved drug and theft charges. Though in West Virginia in 2017, Dingus was charged after he allegedly hit a woman with his car and drove off. The woman apparently tried to stop him and his wife from shoplifting. Ohio prison records show he was also on parole for a 2013 theft case in Cuyahoga County. While in prison, he wrote several letters to a judge in a desperate bid for early release. He said his mother and his wife were also in prison, leaving his 2 daughters without family. And when 3 News Investigates asked Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams to tell us more about the relationship between Dingus and Detective Skirnovitz, he said he couldn't comment because this is an active investigation. Rachel Polanski, 3 News.
We have complete coverage of all this, including information on the FBI's reward and more of Cleveland City leaders' reaction. That's on our 3 News app and at WKYC.com.
Tonight, a rally in front of Chardon High School to support police officers. It stems from a player's actions last week that caused a lot of controversy. You see, he carried the thin blue line flag on the field, which is a symbol of the Blue Lives Matter movement. Will Uick is there now live, and Will, I would imagine tonight's event now takes on a solemn tone.
Yeah, Lena, this has really taken on a different meaning for a lot of people out here as hundreds have now gathered behind me. I spoke with some of them that said they weren't planning on coming, but they really felt they needed to after the tragic events with the Cleveland detective last night, as well as there was a Black Lives Matter protest planned as well. We spoke with the organizer there who said they called that off out of respect for the Cleveland police detective that was killed last night as well. But there are hundreds of people here for their support, showing their support for the football players that were told they could not carry the flag out on the field, as well as support police. Now, the district has been meeting with coaches, players, and police to ensure them of their support. They say it's not banned by any stretch of the imagination. It is strictly down to it can be deemed political, and no one affiliated with the school is allowed to show anything that could be deemed political on school grounds. Of course, we covered this story earlier in the week, and many people in support of this were saying that this is not political, and that's what they're here to show. And we'll have much more on this coming up tonight as they get ready to march here, Lena, and head down to the school. They have a platform set up where they're going to be speaking as well right before the football game, but we are told that it's a free speech zone set up for them and they will not be going into the football game afterwards.
All right, we know you'll keep following it. Will Uick live in Chardon, thanks.
To politics now, and President Trump is denying reports he referred to the nation's military dead as, quote, losers and suckers. Those claims are made in The Atlantic magazine, which is reporting 4 aides with firsthand knowledge of the incident say those remarks were made during a trip to a U.S. military cemetery in France. In one case, the president reportedly said, quote, why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers, end quote. President Trump said today that's not true.
It was a totally fake story, and that was confirmed by many people who were actually there. It was a terrible thing that somebody could say the kind of things, and especially to me, because I've done more for the military than almost anybody else.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden responded with these words for the president.
If these statements are true, the president should humbly apologize to every Gold Star mother and father and every Blue Star family that he's denigrated and insulted. Who the heck does he think he is?
Biden's late son, Beau, served a tour of duty in Iraq.
A look now at the number of new cases of COVID-19. 1,332 new illnesses were reported in the past 24 hours, bringing the 3-week average of daily cases to 1,042. And 22 patients died, which is right at the 3-week average. Also, 68 new patients were hospitalized in the past day. That's less than the 3-week average, which is 76 per day.
Coming up tonight, same holiday, different celebration, how you can still safely enjoy your Labor Day weekend in the middle of this pandemic.
So here we are in kindergarten at the bagel shop.
And creative solution, how a local business helped to make virtual school work for an employee and her family. Hi, Jimmy.
Coming up in sports, the Browns are practicing down at the stadium, and it's a nervous night. It's cut-down day tomorrow. Betsy.
Well, it does look like it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow nonetheless. We are anticipating seeing lots of sunshine, feeling very comfortable conditions. But the outlook for the weekend does have a rain chance or two. We're going to talk about that and the rest of your forecast straight ahead.
What Matters Most is sponsored by Window Nation. Online at windownation.com.
Hey, it's the last summer holiday of the year, and many plan to get together with friends and family. But of course, we have to think differently now since COVID-19 kind of took out a lot of the fun.
But experts say it is not the time to let your guard down. Brandon Simmons explains what you can do and how you can still enjoy this weekend.
Typically, you'd know it's Labor Day weekend in Cleveland just by listening. The sound of airplanes roaring over Northeast Ohio, a tradition of sorts. But this year's air show was canceled months ago. Now many who can't gather together in large groups are turning to small gatherings at someone's home or remote locations instead. AAA expects people to get to those destinations by driving instead of flying.
It's your own vehicle and you can control your stops.
And good news for those hitting the road, gas prices are down. Gas Buddy says prices are the lowest we've seen since 2004 on a Labor Day weekend. But there are also those who worry about out-of-town travel triggering another round of COVID-19 infections. Multnomah County, Oregon is one of those remote destinations urging visitors to be careful.
Our ask of the public is to just find one way to take your plans down a notch in terms of risk.
And experts here at Cleveland Clinic say don't let your guard down, even if your gatherings are small.
The more people there are, the greater the chances someone may have an asymptomatic or a pre-symptomatic infection, and they could spread it.
The air show may be canceled, but you can still attend popular events like the St. Rocco Festival, although it's a drive-through this year. Whether you travel or stay close to home this weekend, stay smart and stay safe.
We need people to do social distancing. We need to keep gatherings to small numbers and to wear masks when possible.
Now, if you are looking for events around town, we have a fall guide on our website and in the WKYC app that includes a full list of festivals happening this Labor Day weekend. I'm Brandon Simmons, 3 News.
Tonight, Bialys's Bagels in University Heights is getting kudos in social media for carving out a space inside the store for an employee's little girl to do her virtual schoolwork. This way, mom can work and keep an eye on daughter Layla while she learns online.
For us, it was really a no-brainer to get her back to work by bringing her daughter to virtually learn at the bagel shop.
The photo, there's Layla, has been making the rounds during a time, of course, when many parents have been struggling to balance work and helping with their child's school. And so far, we hear that kindergarten in the bagel shop is working out very well. Good for all there. It is now 6:15. Lena, how are the girls doing with school so far?
You know what? They start on Tuesday, so I am just ready to get them going. Their brains are slowly deteriorating, I'm telling you. I mean, they're going a little cuckoo. Mama's going a little cuckoo. Betsy, I don't know about you.
Oh, no. We got it all together. Smooth.
Right, sure.
Smooth. I am now a meteorologist, an anchor, mailroom. Still doing that. I have to do that.
Still doing that, yep.
And then I'm also a kindergarten teacher, a 6th grade teacher, a mom, a house cleaner. I mean, you know, we're piling it on, but we got it, right? Lena, I'm sure you're just fine. Things are going great. And if not, well, there's wine at the end of the day. There's always that little nugget, too. I know you'll join me for a glass later. Temperatures tonight are going to be beautiful if you would like to have your wine al fresco, moms and dads outside. Clear sky is going to continue for us. And yeah, the comfortable conditions are with us for a while. Upper 60s, low to mid 70s in Northeast Ohio right now. We still have a west, slightly northwest wind that is driving in this very nice, cool and dry air for us. And I say dry, we're going to take a look at the relative humidity readings. All right. So relative humidity is how much moisture is in the air relative to how much moisture the air could hold at current conditions. Now I say that because it's a ratio, so it's all dependent upon other factors. So we kind of put the glass on the table and we begin to fill it, and that's how much humidity we have, right? So 35% of our glass is full in the Akron-Canton area, 46% at the Cuyahoga County Airport. If we flipped it over to the dew point temperatures, the dew points have been in the 40s and 50s today. But look what happens as we go through the weekend and into next week. So it's a quick reprieve from the heat and humidity that we know so well here in Northeast Ohio during summer. But at least the air conditioners get a bit of a break, and maybe some of the fans too. You might even have to put an extra blanket on the bed tonight if you got the windows open. Clear skies for now across Northeast Ohio, and we spread west. You can see that there are indeed some clouds and showers. All of that is associated with an upper level low in the northern part of our continent, and that part of that storm system is elevated in the atmosphere. So you can see I have two different things here. I have the rain on here, and then I also have the jet stream pattern. Where the jet stream is cool, that creates an unsettled type of a pattern, and you can see where all those rain showers are. We also look for boundaries. A lot of times, all the time, the jet stream is pushing weather systems along, kind of guiding everything. And when you start to get some kinks in the jet stream, that creates a boundary down at the surface, and that is the start of a storm system for us. So as we take a look at Sunday here now, you can start to see there's a little bit of cool air that's starting to impinge westward. As a reflection of that, we do have some showers and storms that are starting to build down into the Great Lakes region. So we do have rain chances late Sunday and into the Labor Day holiday. But more importantly, look at how this cold air begins to sneak back to the western portion of the Plain States by Monday afternoon. This will then move south into the plains through next week. We will get a bump in temperatures, and then we have to contend with that late next week. So lots going on as far as the forecast goes, but smooth sailing this weekend, just like life, smooth. Your National Design Mart forecast here, hour by hour for the day tomorrow, takes us right into the upper 70s to near 80 for the afternoon. Just gorgeous weather all around. Now your Universal Windows Direct forecast. Look at the surge in temperatures to the upper 80s. Then we have the pattern flip, and we're going to see those temperatures going right back down into the low 70s by the end of next week, Russ. And even beyond that, which I'll show you the 10-day forecast coming up tonight at 11, we may even have some highs in the 60s in some places.
Wow. Nothing but smooth sailing. The Isley brothers, I believe.
Smooth sailing, also Leon Bridges.
Ah, very good. Thank you, Betsy. She knows it all. Coming up tonight, the Browns back at First Energy Stadium tonight.
Jimmy tells us what the team is doing as we close in on the season opener on September 13th.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. It's a beautiful night to be down at First Energy Stadium, and that's where the Browns are. They're having a dress rehearsal practice. Keep in mind now, because they didn't have any preseason games, they're going to try and go through the process and rehearse what it would be like if they came out and played a game at the stadium, which they will now in just a couple of weeks. So they'll go through that. They're going to go through the assistant coaches being up in the coaches' boxes with their headsets on and work on their communications. They'll go through their pre-game workout, too, and then they'll wrap it up pretty quickly. It's kind of a walkthrough. Then it's a nervous night for a lot of players wondering, did they make the team? The roster cut, and the limit is 53, and the Browns have to be down to 53 tomorrow by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and right now they are at 77 players on the roster. They are getting very, very high marks about their trade yesterday with the Jacksonville Jaguars, which landed them safety Ronnie Harrison. He's the newest member of the Browns defense, and the Browns gave up a 5th-round draft choice coming up in 2021 to get him. Now, he's not expected to be on the field working out with the Browns tonight, but he'll have to be a quick study. They'll get him on the field right away next week and get him ready to be on the field when it really counts, a week from Sunday, when they take on the Baltimore Ravens in the opening game of the season at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Now to the Indians. They're back home, and we got some encouraging news about Terry Francona. No, he is not ready to manage the team yet, but he is feeling better, and he's made a lot of progress. It is still going to be a while before Tito is back in the Indians dugout, and Sandy Alomar will continue to run the team, and he's doing a great job. But Tito continue to get better. Dying to see you back in there managing the club down the stretch. Now, as for the Indians, they're in good shape as they come back home. It's the start of a 7-game homestand. They're in first place in the division. They lead over the White Sox by a half game, over the Twins by a game and a half, and it all begins tonight as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. Carlos Carrasco will be on the mound for the Indians as they play tonight. The Indians getting set for that one tonight. The Brewers, the first time that they have seen the Brewers so far this year. Now to high school football. It is week 2 of the high school football season. The game we're kind of really interested in tonight, Euclid and Mentor. They both come in 1-0, winning in the quick season of 6 games. Matt Gray is the new head coach of Mentor, taking over for the legend Steve Trevisano. There's been a lot to get through in this pandemic-shortened high school football season.
Our staff and our players have just handled it well. I mean, I barely even have to talk to our kids about spacing out in terms of wearing their masks, being in the locker room when they're supposed to. I don't even have to really have those conversations anymore because they're really handling it the right way and with a mature mindset and mature attitude. So really that to me has made my job a lot easier.
And speaking of jobs in the NBA, Ty Lue is now the favorite to become the new head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Good luck to him. The Sixers won a proven winner. Ty Lue won a title on the Cavs bench. Hope he gets the job. I think he'd do a great job. How about this? The Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses, is tomorrow afternoon, starting at 2 o'clock here on Channel 3. Post time, actually, at 7:01. Tiz the Law is the favorite. Tiz the Law won the Belmont a few weeks ago, and now we'll go for the Kentucky Derby. There will be no fans, of course, at Churchill Downs. Imagine, minus the usual 157,000 that would be at the race. I'll talk with race analyst Kenny Rice from NBC Sports coming up at 7 o'clock on Front Row. And there you have it on a busy Friday going into Labor Day weekend. Gosh, Russ and Lena, I wonder if I made the 53-man Browns roster. I won't sleep a wink.
I'm confident you're going to be okay, Jimmy. You and Deke.
Oh, thanks.
Going to be good.
Oh, he's a lock. He's
You're
a lock.
number one.
Thank you, Jimmy, and thanks for watching. Jimmy and Lena back at 7 o'clock for Front Row.
NBC Nightly News is next. Have a great evening.
Thank you for watching the Emmy Award-winning What Matters Most.